What's going on, everybody? Mansa Musa here. I'm just here doing another, is this reaction or critique? I don't even know. Video of Gothix, my favorite. Um, Gothix, drag queen story time is a bad idea. Hashtag Pride Month. Now, this is a part of Gothix Pride, project, what I call it. Like, she's doing a series of videos involving gay people, trans people, basically members of the LGBT community. And I do have a video on that coming up, which is going to talk about kink at Pride. Boy, that one's going to be a doozy. But, yeah, so she had a transsexual last episode. Not transsexual, transgender. What's the difference? I don't know. Okay, but I know enough. So, damn, what was I? Oh, right, and a gay person on the show. Uh, so yeah, and this isn't me calling her like homophobe, transphobe. She hasn't really said anything that is homophobic or transphobic at all. Um, I'm sorry. I saw half of this video, and something in that video is just cracks me up every time. Now you'll see it. It'll be the thumbnail, but yeah, we're gonna let's just jump into this.
Nickelodeon, one of my favorite television networks growing up as a kid. Whether it was All That or The Amanda Show, this network played a huge role in me developing an interest for improv comedy. And if I think back far enough, I also remember watching Nick Jr., which is a sister network of Nickelodeon that produces shows aimed at younger kids between the ages of 2 to 8. But these days, things are getting a little weird over at Nick Jr., and while some may refer to this weirdness as inclusive, those who are capable of detaching their feelings might prefer to call this a form of indoctrination, and I...
Okay, so listen, she's gonna make you believe that anybody, those who are, they think with their heads, like facts don't care about your feelings, those types of people are calling this indoctrination. But I guarantee you, to me, and to anybody with a brain, anybody who calls it indoctrination, incredibly thinks with their heart. They are probably the most emotional person you will ever meet. Like, the person who calls this indoctrination, they're the same person who would yell at a little girl at a pride parade. You remember that little girl that was holding the flag at the pride parade? But, and you know what? It's not even just with this. It's with a lot of things. Like, my goodness. You see why? I'm going to make a video on why I support school choice. But, I am completely okay with these types of people raising their kids. Like, raise your own goddamn kids and we'll see how they turn out. Mm-hmm. And I'll raise my own goddamn kids. But, yeah.
honestly have to agree with them. Now, first off, if you didn't know, this video is actually part 2 of the Pride series that I'm creating for this channel. So if you haven't watched the first episode, go ahead and watch that before watching this. Trust me.
This
video is actually...
Denims made a reaction video to this. And you know what's funny? She hit the nail right on the head. Like, every single thing she responded to, when I saw that video, is the same thing I was thinking. Like, so many straw mans in that video. But, and I'll leave a link to Denim's reaction in the description below.
Part 2 of the Pride series that I'm creating for this channel. So if you haven't watched the first episode, go ahead and watch that before watching this. Trust me, there is a method to my madness. So for today's video, we're going to be discussing the growing trend of drag queens within spaces that don't really make sense, and I'm wording it in this way for a very specific reason. For those that don't know what a drag queen is, allow me to educate.
Okay, listen. Obviously, if there's an issue that you say there is, people calling it indoctrination, it's weird. I'm pretty sure most people know what a drag queen is. As most of this is for your audience, and people in general aren't living under a rock, okay? we all consume the her face right now. That's my face when somebody says some stupid shit. I'm like, excuse me. Well, what I heard is, where was I? Oh yes, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what a drag queen is. Okay.
According to Wikipedia, a drag queen is a person, usually male, who uses drag clothing and makeup to imitate and often exaggerate female gender signifiers and gender roles for entertainment purposes. Historically, most drag queens have been men dressing as women. And since much of society has gotten into the habit of changing definitions when it's convenient for them, I'm good.
First of all, people on the right and God knows wherever you are, I'd say she's like libertarian right. She says she's politically homeless, but I'd say Gothix is libertarian right. But anyway, I don't think it's that people like change. Well, yes, people definitely do change definitions on common phrases, and people on the right as well. But I also think people just use terms they don't understand all the time. Like in Gothix's, I think this is the video before the trans agenda video. God, her video titles are just so misleading. Like, but oh yeah, how to win the culture war. She says that mainstream media depicts, like when she was talking about how people have compared her to looking like a classical SJW. She said that mainstream media depicts her as a classical SJW, and she misused the term mainstream media. So usually when people talk about mainstream media, they're talking about, CNN, MSNBC, all these, these media sources, ABC. They're talking about the mainstream media. If anybody's depicting her as an SJW, it's the anti-SJWs that would like her channel. Like think Geeks and Gamers, the Quartering, like those types of anti-SJWs. They've just capitulated that with a far left extremist. Somebody whose hair is cut, like vibrant colored hair. Basically somebody that doesn't look like a conventional woman. But, yeah, so people, including Gothix, use terms that they don't understand. And this isn't just Gothix this is everybody on the left and the right. So, I don't think, so if they are changing the definition of terms, maybe it's just how they interpret those terms.
Go ahead and toss in a second explanation for you. According to dictionary.com, a drag queen is a performer, typically one who was assigned male at birth, whose act involves a stylized and exaggerated interpretation of femininity and plays with stereotypical gender themes. It's also worth noting that drag queens are not the same as being trans, which is what we discussed in my previous video. Transsexuals might dress differently or undergo surgery to permanently embody the opposite sex, while drag queens, on the other hand, mostly do this as a form of entertainment. One of the most prominent drag queens in the mainstream eye, in my opinion, is RuPaul, who's also the creator of the hit show RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, I'm all for freedom of expression, especially as it pertains to art. And
unless it's indoctrination, I put that with air quotes, or Cardi B, unless it's those two things. But everything else, fine. Especially if it sticks it to the libs. You gotta own the libs.
This is coming from someone who consistently dressed up for my live streams.
Damn, those costumes though.
Over on Twitch. But drag is a very different type of artistry, and depending on who you ask, some might take anywhere between an hour to 5 hours to get ready for a performance. Keyword, performance. Let's actually go back and look at these definitions again. Almost every single definition I looked up mentions the phrase performance or entertainer, which are generally professions that you do as a form of entertainment for other people. So things like stand-up comedy, late-night talk show hosts, or even YouTubers would fall into this category.
Okay, so I want you to remember she called it entertainment. It is entertainment. So she said YouTubers, late night talk show hosts, and stand up comedians. Okay, so yeah.
Now, I don't believe that people should be barred from participating in discussions or projects that are outside of their field. For example, celebrities talking about politics, assuming they actually do their research, because otherwise they'd just be another mouthpiece for propaganda, and I could understand why so many people believe that celebrities...
Okay, so she keeps using the term propaganda, but she does not understand that the term propaganda can go both ways. Like, there's left-wing propaganda and there's right-wing propaganda. And you say this, it comes to that video she made about, what was it called again? How to do research without encountering propaganda. Yeah.
should stick to doing celebrity things. So when I heard about drag queen story time or drag queen cameos on shows that are advertised to kids, I once again...
Wait. I remember this. This was Alex Jones. He showed this on his show when he was like, but yeah, he was not happy about this. So I'm just gonna make a point that I was gonna make later on, but let's just do it now. So you see these are men dressing as women. Okay, so they are dressing very extravagantly, reading to children. Now, do you see anything inappropriate on them? Like, are they completely nude? Like, are they being vulgar? Are they spewing? Are they cursing? Like, I don't think... I remember this clip. I didn't remember them. And I also saw this from the news thing that was covering this. They weren't cursing. They were just being incredibly nice and friendly to these kids who really weren't, like, appalled by what they saw. Because, I mean, it's just a man in a dress. It's not like it's a fucking demon. Like, even though that one has horns. What is that? Unicorn horns? My goodness. You know what? Let me be honest. I'm a bit scared of them. Like, the one in the white over there. But, yeah.
And have to ask, why? Why would we, as a society, want to socialize children with drag queens when drag queens are classified as entertainers or performers? One might say, well, it's to promote inclusion and diversity. Okay, let's go.
So somebody may say that, but no, I don't like it. Or maybe, remember she said entertainment? Remember that word, kids? It's simply entertainment. Like clowns. You know clowns at birthday parties? Entertainment. You know, YouTubers? Entertainment. Comedians? Entertainment. Late night talk show hosts? Entertainment. It is simply to entertain. Could that be a thing?
With that, realistically, how many drag queens do you think the average American encounters on a day-to-day?
0.
Personally, I never see them, unless, of course, I went to a pride parade or a drag show. So if the claim is that Drag Queen Story Hour, for example, is somehow instrumental in promoting diversity and inclusion, then my follow-up question would be, why are people so adamant about promoting diversity for drag queens when they're hardly a part of our day-to-day as it is? Because, as I pointed out earlier, drag...
I don't know, Gothix. Maybe it's because they're not doing it for diversity and inclusion and it's simply entertainment, like I just fucking said. Like, it's entertainment, like a clown at a birthday party, and not here to just promote inclusivity. Like, my goodness. Like, by that logic, anybody who watched an episode of RuPaul, they would say, oh, this is some woke SJW garbage, when in reality, it is literally just a show in its own sphere, in its own square, that is solely for entertainment, like most other shows. Okay? Now, to be fair, they may do that. They may promote inclusivity and diversity. But, I mean, years from now, they'll be normalized and we won't have to, like, promote diversity and inclusivity because a show like that will just be some entertainment.
is a form of entertainment or performance, and apparently being gay isn't even a requirement, though the field is mostly dominated by them. So I'm a little confused as to why a profession would be under the pride umbrella in the first place, but also, if construction work was a profession dominated mostly by gay men, would I then expect Nickelodeon to start promoting construction workers during...
My goodness. No, I'm not even laughing at how ridiculous that was. I'm laughing at, because I just thought, what if Nickelodeon really put out gay stripper construction workers? Like, I'm just thinking of that. No, notice I said strippers, okay? Strippers are incredibly inappropriate and should not be catered to kids. Okay? Now, why? Strippers, they are half naked. They have, like, they're half naked and it has sexual connotations. Now, something I'm going to make clear is that the problem people have with drag queens being catered to kids is that, drag queens, sometimes they, like the definition she said, they mock, like, they dress up in femininity, like hyper femininity, like things that would be scantily clad, like hyper sexualized. And yeah, I agree on that. Like, that shouldn't be catered to kids at all. And contrary to belief, many on the left agree with that as well. But my thing is, all of the people who are calling drag queens indoctrination, I'll make this point later on, but let's continue.
Pride Month? I'm aware that this is a silly analogy, but something to think about.
It is.
Actually, while we're at it, let's go online and take a look at some of the upcoming drag performances in my area.
First of all, what's funny? I think, is she literally about to do advertisement for drag queen places in your area? That would be cool.
I'm gonna go ahead and search for drag queen events. So I started with Boston. Let's take a look. We have drag brunch. Okay, let's scroll down. Must be at least 18 years of age to enter. Okay. Let's take a look at another one.
I see where she's going with this.
This event is 21 plus. Let's go back. Let's check out Jello wrestling. Ooh, sounds exciting. 21 plus. All right, let's check out something.
Wait. Hold on. Jello wrestling. What the fuck is that? Like, huh? Like, is it two drag queens just wrestling in Jello like Jerry Springer? That shit is wild.
Hi, New York. New York. Here we go. Must be at least 18 years of age to attend. All right, let's try another one. Let's try this one and a drag queen bingo. Let's try that. Right, so let's see. This one doesn't actually say. Oh, right here. 21 and over. All right. You know what? Let's try something on the West Coast, just in case. California.
Oh, you lucked out in California,
this
girl.
Show right here. Viva Royale. Okay. Let's see. Age limit 21 plus. All right, let's try another one. Let's go with this one. San Francisco. Okay, I'm just looking at their terms of service here. What's the age for this? What's the age for this? Okay, I have no idea what the age is for this. So I'm going to assume tickets. Let's see. I don't wanna assume here. I don't know what this is. I actually don't know. All right, so that one, I'm assuming it's 21 plus because it's sponsored by Tequila El Rey. I don't know if that's a drink or a stage name.
It seems like a stage name.
Not only are all of these events 18 plus, drag shows usually are performed within bars, nightclubs, and burlesque venues. You know, places that are generally reserved for adults.
Okay, so obviously that's not true, okay? You showed a picture of drag queens reading to children, so clearly they're not subject to those things. Like, I mean, yes, they're, like, they are catered to nightclubs, places that there are adults, but by showing those pictures of those drag queens reading to children, like, that's to show that it's not just for adults. Like, there can be a drag queens catered to adults that can be scantily clad and sexual, overtly sexual, as adults can handle that sort of mature thing. And there can be drag queens reading to kids, and those drag queens you showed us reading to kids, they were not being sexual, scantily clad in any way. They were fully clothed. And when I saw that video, they weren't cursing. They were not being lewd. So, yeah. So, you can see where I'm going with this. I don't have a problem with drag queens as long as they are not being sexual, because guess what? It is just a dude in a dress. Like, yeah, it's just a dude in a dress. What's the big deal? Like, even so, as she said drag queens are dominated by mostly gays, and this is true. So even non-straight males who do this sort of thing, they'll do it for fun. They'll do it for a laugh. And on TV shows, like all that, like Amanda Show. And you know what's funny? I remember this scene in Amanda Show where one of them was wearing a goddamn dress. Was it Drake? I don't know. What's this? Drake Bell, yeah. Fun fact, he just got arrested for child endangerment. Whenever I think of Drake getting arrested for child endangerment, I think of that episode of Drake and Josh when Mindy put him on trial. But he was wearing a dress in the Amanda Show. So you see, that wasn't like you didn't call it indoctrination then. That was just a dude wearing a dress. So when I saw those two drag queens reading to those children, when I saw that drag queen talking to Nickelodeon, and also, did you know, in honor of Pride Month, Avatar, the channel Avatar, they had drag queens dressed up as characters from Rise of kiyoshi, reading the story of Kiyoshi. So, and they were fully clothed. They were not sexualized at all. But one of the idiots who say the term indoctrination, you included. Nah, you know what? Let me not insult her, okay? I don't hate you, Gothix. I just disagree with you. Like, and I checked out some of her content on Twitch, and some of it is actually pretty funny. Like, she's funny. And I've also seen some of her Monday live stream, and she is just hilarious. Like, somebody asked her, what is the BLM dance? And then she just, like, shook her fist in the air. And, like, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, idiots who use the term indoctrination, they're people who, like, it's just their knee-jerk emotional reaction because, like, that's something you're not keen to sing. Like, traditionally, especially conservatives, they have a very black and white view of gender roles in society. You know, men do this, women do that. And you know what? Let me make something clear. So, in Gothic's previous video, she said that she believes there are two genders. And so do I. I believe there are two sexes. And let me clear something up. When leftists say that gender is a social construct, they don't literally mean that biological gender is a social construct. They mean gender roles, meaning men, they're, you know, traditionally masculine, females are traditionally feminine, you know, females are in the kitchen, The home wreckers, they gotta find a husband. Males, they gotta work. You know, gotta be like this brute. Um, you know, beer drinking. I don't know. No, I know. But that's what they mean when they say gender is a social construct. They're saying those are socially constructed norms that we as humans have socially made up for whatever reason we did, whatever reason that was that we made up those norms. Sex, they admit that sex is biological. There are two biological sexes, one with a male biological organ has a penis, your testicles can produce sperm, you know, those sorts of things. And the female organ is a vagina, has lips, glands, a canal, and a uterus, and you know, all these sorts of things. So they understand the differences between males and females. But conservatives, they have a black and white view of what gender is. Like, men do this, women do this, men and women different all the time. And obviously I can't speak for all, okay? Obviously there are some exceptions. There's always exceptions with everything. But so you understand why these people, they get upset whenever they see a man dressing up like a woman, doing like woman, like, oh no, men do this, men don't do that. Like, that's gonna trigger some sort of thing inside of them, and then they immediately say it's indoctrination. For what? I don't even know. Like, they're indoctrinating your kid to know that a dude can put on a woman's dress. Like they're not telling. I'm not, as far as I know, they're not telling your kid to do this. And I'll make a point about they're not telling your kid to do this later on. But yeah. And back to what I said about the Avatar channel doing that kiyoshi thing, where they had drag queens dressed up as characters from Kiyoshi, which you should read that book, by the way. It's a graphic novel. It is definitely amazing. I hope they make a live action series about that. But they were fully clothed, reading the story to what I assume the audience are children, teens, and fans of the series, such as me. Yeah.
Which I'd assume is for a very good reason. So at this point, I bring the question back to you. How is this appropriate? And what is the benefit of exposing a child to a profession that's advertised for adults?
Good question, Gothix. There is no benefit because, like I keep telling you, it's entertainment. Is there, let me ask you something. Is there any benefit to comedians making jokes? Is there any benefit to late night talk shows? Is there any benefit to YouTubers like this video? I mean, I'm sure you're going to argue that there's a benefit to this video because you're educating people. Are there any benefits to, say, a jokester YouTube channel? Oh, were there any benefits to you dressing up in your Twitch? By the way, those were some badass costumes, by the way. There were no benefits because it's solely entertainment. Like, humans have a constant need to be entertained on their downtime. Like, the only arguable benefit it creates is, I don't know, maybe dopamine. Maybe it increases the dopamine in your brain whenever you see your favorite show or the new season to a show comes up. And if I have any research on any evidence to suggest that dopamine increases when you see the entertainment you like, I will put that in the description below because that may have been something I heard. But, yeah, it is entertainment. There's no benefit to it. They're just trying to be fun. I mean, and back to what you said earlier, it's for inclusion and diversity. You don't see me doing the air quotes. She always does so many air quotes. Like, I know what she's saying. Like, I'm doing air quotes to show you these nutty leftists, how they change the definition of everything. Like, yeah, but back to what you said earlier about diversity and inclusion, it may do that, and that's fine. Like, but the problem is that some of these drag queens, they can be scantily clad and overtly sexual and downright lewd, and I'm not about that. But if they're not being downright lewd, such as the example you showed of those drag queens reading to children, fully clothed, not doing anything inappropriate, or the example I listed of those drag queens, they were Asian drag queens reading the Kiyoshi story. Those are examples of drag queens that are not scantily clad. So if they're depicted in the media, I do not want to hear any of you idiots saying, "No, this is indoctrination. They have an agenda." Oh my God, agenda, indoctrination. So many big words used by emotional people. Okay, and it's true. And you can even apply this to some of these, like, SJWs. They use all of these big words that act like, when you break it down to what they're describing it to or attributing it to, it doesn't make any sense. Like white supremacist, you Nazi, misogyny, patriarchy. All of these words are big words used by emotional ass people. Okay? And the same thing can be attributed to the word indoctrination. It is just a big word being used by emotional people who fear for their children. And I understand the concern for your children, but I'm telling you that you really have nothing to be worried about. And let me tell you this, if you do have something to be worried about, I promise, me as a lefty, I will be on it. Just look at this kink at Pride stuff. Guess what? I'm not 100% on board with that. No, I'm 100% not on board with that kink at Pride stuff. I think it is absolutely harmful to all of you young gay people, 10, 12, 13, all of you young people who want to go to Pride, but then some adult loser gay is wearing a leather, and it is just not an environment that you should be. And all of you parents with gay kids, I really implore you to celebrate Pride at home. Buy a rainbow cake, not from a Christian baker, because that is some very inappropriate stuff. Like, if I had a gay kid one day, I would not bring them to that environment, and we would celebrate their identity at home. But yeah.
Child's brain doesn't fully develop until they're around 25, and I know this firsthand because I was still a dumbass at 18.
Okay. So I'm gonna copy this. A child's brain does not develop until they are 25, because a lot of people, Gothix she says she's politically homeless, and I know where to put her. She's libertarian right, okay? Nothing wrong with that, Gothix. Like, you have your opinion, I'll have mine, but I will voice why I think you're wrong sometimes. And you're not wrong. And I've said this again, there are some things I agree with you on, such as big tech censorship or woke representation in the media. And a future video on that may come up. But, yeah, damn, I wish, I'm just thinking about that whole, debacle, the debate, that Steven Crowder debate. So, hold on, what'd you just say?
Advertised for adults. A child's brain doesn't fully develop until they're around 25, and I know this firsthand because I was still a dumbass at 18. That being
Okay, yeah, right. So she's politically homeless, but she's libertarian right. A lot of people on the right, and that includes the libertarian right, they're the ones who are always tweeting out free Kyle Rittenhouse. And okay, so my opinion on the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing is, I'm sorry, but he technically had a right to defend himself. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the circumstances, but I mean, yeah. But damn, what was I about to say? Oh, right. So I want them to remember that when the defense of how Kyle even got a goddamn gun in the first place, it came up. A child's brain is not developed until they are around 25 years old. So why does a child have possession of a rifle in the first goddamn place? Hmm? Hmm? And this is an argument they'll use for trans kids transitioning. They'll say, "Oh, kids' brains aren't developed until they're 25," and yes, that's a good point. And that's why I personally think that there should be a careful, detailed evaluation of every child that is trans. And I do support them being on puberty blockers, as puberty blockers is a completely safe and reversible procedure, meaning if the child decides they are not trans, it is easily reversible and they will go back to having their puberty. This is a nuance conservatives don't want you to know. they but yeah, so remember that. If she ever talks about Kyle Rittenhouse, which I hope she does, because I will bring up this clip.
Children are extremely impressionable. You can literally mold them into the person you want them to be, depending on what you expose them to and what you teach them.
So where are you going with this? You're saying that if a kid sees a man dressing up like a woman, they're going to want to do that too? Because, I mean, children are exposed to a lot of things, yet they don't do it themselves. Like...
So this is one of those situations where parents, activists, or allies really need to take their emotions...
We know how much you hate allies. We know how much you hate allies. Allies are causing problems.
Off the table and objectively look at the facts, because there's a phrase situations where parents, activists, or allies really need to take their emotions off the table and objectively look at the facts, because...
Yes, take your emotions off of the table. So this is to your extremely right-leaning audience, and don't pretend like they're not. No, wait, she doesn't. No, I take that back. Because Gothix, she knows that there are conservatives in her audience. So, yeah, I'm not saying Gothix pretends that there aren't conservatives in her audience. But this is to all of you right-leaning members of the audience. Take your emotions off of the table. Carefully assess every situation where you see a drag queen interaction with children or children's media. And ask yourselves, is this really hurting them? Is this really indoctrinating them? Are the drag queens wearing scantily clad, hypersexualized clothing? Like, oh, no, they're not? Oh, they're wearing some strange costume with, what is that, demon horns? Unicorn horns? Oh, well, everything seems fine. See you later, Billy. Like that. Objectively look at the situation. You can't just say, oh, this person is a man that dresses up like a woman, so this is indoctrination. And you know what? To be fair, they may make this point that I'm making too later on in the video. And if they do, I will agree. But this is a reaction after all.
There's a phrase that says the road to hell is paved with good intentions, meaning intent doesn't really matter if things still end badly. So if the result of this is causing parents to generalize drag queens in a negative light, or if it badly. So if the result of this...
Okay, so what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, her face right now. She is hilarious. But there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just a dude dressing up in woman's clothing. Like, and y'all remember when, and I really hate bringing this up, Candace Owens. Y'all remember when Candace Owens was going after Harry Styles for wearing a dress. So that is more evidence that conservatives, like I said, they have a black and white view on what gender is. So Candace Owens went incredibly ballistic. She did not look at that objectively. She went full on emotions. She said, bring back manly men. Like, which, you know what? Yo, I want to talk to Gothix one day. Because I have, like, a bunch of things to say. First of all, how much I love her channel. All these sorts of things. Like, if she happens to see this, yeah, I mean, I might not be able to do it right away, but we could definitely schedule something. Um, yeah, like, but what was I saying? So yeah, Candace, she went ballistic. She was like, Marxism is being taught. And you know what? Guess who makes the same point again? You'll see. But yes, look at this. He, and I say he because that's a he, is not being sexual, overtly sexual. They are not being hyperly sexual. They are not naked. They are not being lewd. They are not being inappropriate. There's no pornographic material in that video. It is just a man dressing up as a woman. It is not going to harm a child's brain to see that. In fact, a child's brain will probably brush that up off. Y'all remember the movie Inside Out? You remember Goofball Island on Riley's brain? That is what that image will go to. Like, that's silly looking. Like, the thing you need to understand is it's true that children's brains are still developing, but a lot of the things go way over their head. Like, how many things did you remember when you were a kid? Okay? But, so she says something else.
Is causing parents to generalize drag queens in a negative light.
If that is causing parents to generalize drag queens in a negative light, those are right-wing parents, okay? Those are right-wing parents that probably weren't fans of drag queens to begin with. And I don't know why. Like, first of all, I didn't even know right-wingers had an issue with drag, with people who do drag. Like, I didn't even know that was an issue to them. Is it? Like, I understand that the gays are an issue to them because it's not a traditional family. I understand the trans are an issue to them, but I didn't know drag queens were because, like I said, it is just a dude wearing a dress. Like, frankly, I don't want to wear a dress. Like, I mean, you see my screen face. I wear a robe, but that's not a dress. But, I don't want to wear a dress because, frankly, I just find it, like, I find dresses to be incredibly conflicting. I don't even know how a woman can walk in dresses. I just don't know why. But, my thing is, how is that video, or the one of them reading to kids, or the one I described of Kiyoshi, which I'll put a link to in the description, don't know if I already said that, how are they going to portray drag queens in a negative light? If anything, those are examples of how they're normalizing them in a good way that is not inappropriate. Because here's the thing. Earlier you said there are comedians, YouTubers, and late night talk show hosts. But what you neglected to mention is how there are kid versions of those as well. Like, y'all remember Kid President? I think the last time I saw him, he was on Babysitters on Netflix. Or I forgot his name, but he was this kid comedian. He was, you know what? I'll put a link in that description below. I forgot his name, but yes, and this was in like 2000s, like post 90s era. That kid comedian, and there are kid YouTubers, like you said. You know, entertainment. You'll remember the highlighted word of entertainment. Those are all entertainments that have a place in kids spheres. They are not inappropriate, so why can't the same thing for drag be done? Like, there can be adult drag and there can be drag for kids, which is the drag we saw at that image you just showed us, and the drag we saw at the first clip you showed us of them reading to kids, and the drag we saw at Kiyoshi. Those are good examples of how they're not inappropriate. Like, in all those examples, they were not being inappropriate or showing any sort of adult humor in any sort of way. Like, and there are many more examples of this. Like, y'all remember that Netflix show, AJ and the Drag? I didn't watch it, but somebody needs to tell me how that ended. Like, what is even going on? Is that he's just traveling with a kid? I don't know. But yeah, AJ and the Drag, or No, AJ and the Queen. Yeah, AJ and the Queen. But yeah, like there are good examples of how they're not being lewd or inappropriate and that they can be around children. It's like the same thing with the kink at pride debacle. Kink is something that is sexual regardless of sexual orientation. It's sexual to straight or gays. Like that is adult things that young gays should definitely not be exposed to at such an early age. But so that's why I disagree with that, and I have a video coming up on that as well. But my thing is, conservatives, you know, the ones calling this indoctrination, because we know who's calling it indoctrination, okay? We know who is calling it indoctrination. The thing with them is that whenever they think about gay people, they immediately jump to the sex. Like, they always say, and this is even when they're from a libertarian standpoint. Conservatives, when they're like, they take a libertarian stance on it when they say, I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own bed. Like, the fact that they say that, and I'm not knocking that, like, respect to any conservative who thinks this way. Thank you very much. Like, you have much more of an open mind than other conservatives who still think that, who still just can't mind their own damn businesses, because it is true, what you do in your own home is your own privacy, but the fact that you immediately jump into the home implies that you're thinking about the sex, when there's more to their relationships than just sex. There's more to any relationship than just sex. And it's the same thing with this. The fact that they see somebody, a man, dressing up as a woman, and like you said, it is dominantly done by gay men, they immediately, just their very presence, it doesn't matter if they're not being inappropriate, it doesn't matter if they're not being lewd, just their very presence is enough to raise red flags, and then they jump on the indoctrination float. Okay?
Or if it's brainwashing the youth to follow Marxist ideology.
Okay, this again. Ugh, my goodness. So in her video of culture to win the culture war, she brought this up. She showed the Blues Clues video, and then she saw this insignia. So this insignia is the Black Lives Matter insignia, and in that video, she made a funny joke. She was like, "Oh yeah, where are the black people, huh? Is it the beaver?" She was kidding, obviously, but so does she not know that Black Lives Matter, their founder, Patrice, that bitch Patrice Cullors, who can suck a bag of dicks, commie slut. I'm kidding. Love to all you commies. But she is a member of the LGBT community. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I haven't seen all of her live streams. I haven't seen a video where she mentions that. But yeah, Patrice Cullors is a member of the LGBT community. So, and that's another issue with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter has been co-opted by all these sorts of things. Like the alphabet like the LGBT community. Like, I think black people, they nickname it, because the black community, they are somewhat homophobic. And to be fair, and this is good, it's slowly dying down, the homophobia in the black community. It is, but yes, there's still elements of homophobia in the black community. I'm just laughing at the alphabet community. They call it the alphabet community LGBTZ, LGBTQ. But yeah, so this insignia, and you know what, other people, they have a point. Somebody, I think this was in one of your comments, one of her comments, said that the Nazis also used the fist flag. But, and I'm like, yeah, sure, but Black Lives Matter, their founder is gay. And this is the organization she founded with this insignia. And you know what, here's another point I'll make, but let's repeat what she just said.
This is causing parents to generalize drag queens in a negative light, or if it's brainwashing the youth to follow Marxist ideology,
Okay, so Gothix, I like this is really disappointing because I know I disagree with you on a lot of things, but at least you make cohesive arguments for things I disagree with, which I can make, well, pretty cohesive arguments back for why I disagree with them. But this really, like, so what? It's a fist, it's a flag. Like, it is literally an image of a fist. It's like, if you want to make the case that they're telling kids to redistribute their wealth and to, that Stalin was a hero, or just literally indoctrinating them with Marxism, go ahead. But that's not what's being done in this fist. By showing this fist, it's literally just a goddamn fist. Okay? And that's not what this video was about. This video wasn't about Marxism. It was about a dude wearing a dress. Like, and you know what? This is Gothix. She hates Marxism. Like, absolutely. She hates it with a passion. She hates Marxism. She hates socialism. And like I said, I respect people's differences of opinion. And for personally, me, I'm not a Marxist. And in a perfect world, I'd be a socialist, but socialism has a lot of problems. I'm a mixed market economist. But I'm not a fan of Marxism, which is essentially communism, either. Because, listen, the problem with communism is that, like, everybody has to be completely equal. Like, everybody just must give up everything. And I just don't think that's the way, either. But then again, I have way more issues with capitalism, which runs on greed. Which is basically, this is Sparta. Like, it's this never-ending survival match. But, yeah, like, it's really disappointing because I thought Gothix was, I don't know, she wasn't like this. And you know what's funny? In one of, I think this was our last stream, I saw this stream while I made that video reacting to Carolyn Borsenko's warning about CRT, which, Carolyn, you still need to have a conversation with Gothix on, because Gothix has definitely stated that CRT is anti-white when she made that video with Ariel. But, yeah, there was a live stream that I watched, and in that live stream, they were talking about the Confederate flag, and Gothix said she doesn't care about the Confederate flag. She went to Kentucky, black people were flying it, and it obliterates a narrative. I love the way she says narrative, like narrative. It's like, is it her accent? Maybe it's, where's she from? Like, she from New York, Long Island? I don't know. Yeah, Long Island. It may be a Long Island accent. But that it was portraying a narrative that I mean, it destroys a narrative that the Confederate flag is racist. And she said, it's a piece of paper. Like, I'm not offended by a piece of cloth. So why don't you apply this to this? It is literally an insignia. Like, I could easily say I'm not offended by an insignia. Like, see, LGBT people embrace this insignia, so I'm not offended by it. And then you'll bust out and say, but it's Marxist indoctrination, and communism has caused so and so million deaths. But and I could say, okay, but that obliterates a narrative that it's Marxism. Like, look, somebody of the LGBT community is holding it up. And my thing is, it's not even a Marxist. My thing is, it's not even a Marxist symbol. It's a symbol for BLM. BLM's founder is a Marxist. Yes, Patrice is a Marxist, but she's also a lesbian. But get this. BLM supporters are not necessarily Marxists. They don't share Marxist beliefs. Like, this is the truth. And you know what? I saw that interview with Brad Polumbo and Gothix. Yeah, you should subscribe to his channel, but only because to get out of an echo chamber, okay? There are a few conservative channels I subscribe to just to get out of an echo chamber. And all lefties should do the same. But, yeah, in that, Brad, this is what I love about Brad. He distinguishes the two. He says that the movement and the organization are completely two different things. Okay? And in fact, fun fact, many people didn't even know there was an organization. Like, I just found out about Patrice a few years ago. I found out about founders of Black Lives Matter a few years ago, and guess from who? Conservatives who are saying, oh, the founders are Marxists. So I found it from you guys, not the left. And I shouldn't say you guys because Gothix is not a conservative, okay? She's not. And she's also not a grifter, okay? I've looked into her and she's not a grifter. But, yeah. So, Patrice is a lesbian. Patrice is a Marxist. They are holding up the insignia of an organization created by a lesbian, a member of the LGBT community. So you see how when I said Black Lives Matter has been co-opted by all these different groups, and that's another reason why I don't support Black Lives Matter. And like I said, I didn't say this, but to be clear, I'm not homophobic. I didn't stop supporting Black Lives Matter because they were co-opted by LGBT. But it does have to do with the LGBT being thrown in the mix, but only because it has nothing to do with police brutality. Like, it's irrelevant, and I honestly just can't follow nonsense that's irrelevant. But then again, I was being a little bit irrelevant when I brought up other things with this matter, but please forgive me. So, yeah, and you see, we got the whole picture. Does that look inappropriate to you? Like, fully clothed, only thing that are showing are arms, legs. That's it. Bosom or whatever that is. How do they even are those fake boobs? Do drag queens wear fake boobs? See, fully covered. Nothing anybody would find inappropriate. In fact, from afar, that would look like a very big female. But, yeah. Gothix, she hates Marxism with she just has this, I'm not going to say, you know what, she just hates Marxism. She hates it. But, which is, I find hypocritical because she said she doesn't have a problem with the Confederate flag. The flag of people, and yes, it does have racist origins. It was created as a symbol of white power. And I will have receipts in the description as to its ties to white power in the South. But it was held by people, Democrats, Dixiecrats, the past Democrats, who wanted to keep blacks enslaved. And I find it funny because she's always using terms like the Democratic plantation to talk about a victimhood mentality that black people have. And I put victimhood mentality because, yeah, I don't believe most black people have this victimhood mentality. Just because they may talk about Black Lives Matter and shit like that, that doesn't necessarily mean they are victims who decide to lay in a corner and die. Who decide not to pay taxes, who decide not to work. Like, most black people, they do work, they do normal things. Because we got to get to this end of this video, but, yeah.
Then the intent of promoting inclusion and diversity is irrelevant. For the record, I don't hate drag performers like Nina West, and I honestly think they're a little misguided. I'd like to believe that most people want to do good in the world, but allow their common sense to be clouded with good intentions or emotion, and even sometimes a paycheck.
I mean, yes, I absolutely agree. Like, when people say that a man dressing as a woman is indoctrination, like, they may have good intentions, like the good intentions of not having inappropriate material being exposed to youth, which I'm not about, which I'm completely against inappropriate material of drag queens in scantily clad and overly sexualized clothing being exposed to children. But in the process, they may inadvertently decide to ban or just fill all of these things with hate, so much undeserved hate for just simply existing, that they may cause harm more than the good intentions that they want. Look at me stuttering like Joe Biden.
I want to encourage people to resist the temptation of generalizing all drag queens over the actions of a few, because a lot of them are actually against this agenda, like Ryan Woods.
Okay, so you won't apply that to Black Lives Matter protesters. You will not. You always capitulate all Black Lives Matter as all, it was all these riots. Like, when you sarcastically say, peaceful protest, I know what you're doing. Okay, so, I'm not going to say they were mostly peaceful, but there were many, many peaceful protests. In fact, there were many peaceful protests that were turning violent, and guess what? Black Lives Matter, they actually stopped the violent protesters. Yeah. And I'll put a link in the description below because they're like most of the things I talk about, I promise will have context and receipts behind them. And that is what I like to call a MAGA drag queen. A mag queen? I don't know. A Trump supporting drag queen, I assume. Yeah.
The creator of Lady MAGA USA, who also views these issues as indoctrination. And
wait, what did he say?
Are actually against this agenda, like Ryan Woods, the creator of Lady MAGA USA, who also views these issues.
Okay, so, and this is exactly why I want nothing to do with mainstream LGBTQ radicals. Dignified gays are walking in droves was never about stories. It was dangerous indoctrination. Oh, yeah. So, let me show y'all something. Yeah, this is just indoctrination right here. What else? Where was it? It was that when she was reading, when the drag queens were reading. Yes, this is indoctrination.
When I heard about drag queen storytime...
Okay, so, yeah, this is indoctrination right here. Just a bunch of dudes in dresses reading a book to children. Like, unless that book... You know what? Okay, no, I was wrong. This is indoctrination. Look, they're reading to them books about Marxism. Like, look, this is called Stalin... What is it? What's so funny? Like, George Joseph Stalin. This is called Stalin Hears a Who. The other one right there with the one with the unicorns is called Mao, what's that? Damn, that would have been a funny joke. But, yes, they're reading to them about Marxism. Like, my thing is, you're focused on them just pretty much just being there in the first place, but you don't even make a point. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she made a silly point that they were reading about communism. Like, what if a BLM insignia showed up in one of those books and she was like, see, if you look at one of these books, you'll see one of the BLM logos right there. This is indoctrination. My goodness. Oh, look. Oh, wait, she actually got him on here? Yep, those are indoctrination. Big words, no meaning.
These issues as indoctrination. And before you pause the video to express your disgust for me highlighting a tokenized drag queen, I need you to relax, because your emotions are suffocating your common sense.
No, that would be, well, you know what? Listen. See, she's talking to me. She's breaking the fourth wall. Oh my God, Gothix. You can see into my soul. My goodness. But,
I'm talking to you, you pompous political commentators.
First of all, am I even a political commentator? I'm just a loser that, yes, a loser. Like, I probably only got 23 subscribers. I do hope she sees this, though. Like, in fact, I would say this isn't even for other people to see. It's for you. It is for you to see. And, like, I would love it if you left a comment or something saying what you think about something. Like, and I remember when, I think this was, oh yeah, when she made that video on 7 reasons she voted for Trump, I left a comment in there. Like, I left a comment saying 7 reasons I voted for Biden. And they were good, legitimate reasons. And it only got 1 like, and she didn't respond to it at all. Like, she responded to many other comments with a love, but not mine. And then even at the end of the comment, I said, those are the reasons I voted for Biden. You may not agree with those reasons, and that's fine. I support your choice to vote for Trump. But she, like, it was not, and this was one of the, and this comment was done relatively early. Like, I can't go to that video and find it, but I'll try. But, yeah. And she didn't respond to it. So, I don't know. I just hope that she sees this and then just thinks. Like, I'm not even asking her to change her stance. You can have whatever stance you want. You like the goal of responses aren't to change the mind, but it's just what you think about this. And this is what I think about this video. Like, for real. But here's the funny part I was laughing about in the beginning.
Listen, do me a favor. Before you upload your reaction video to this, just make sure you get me on my good side when creating your thumbnail.
Hold on, let me take a screenshot of this, because this is the funny part. Get me on your good side. Alright, Gothix. Maybe this will bring her to respond. Or, like, and I'm not asking her to do a whole video on me. Though that would be really nice. Like, that would give me so much publicity if you did. But, like, I don't know, leave a comment. Does she even leave comments on other videos? Yeah, that is going to be the thumbnail.
Anyways, I actually reached out to Ryan to see if he'd be interested in working together on this video, to which he agreed. So if you happen to be someone that doesn't approve of drag, that's okay. You're entitled to not like something. However, just...
Boom. You are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to not like something.
As I mentioned in my previous video, it might be worthwhile to find a middle ground with people like Ryan. Because if we can unify on the idea that drag queens shouldn't be influencing children, then we can work together.
It is not influencing children. Like, these drag queens, they're not telling them to be Marxist. They're not telling them to be gay. They're not telling them to put on clothes and be like them. They're not telling them to go jump off of a cliff. It is solely for entertainment. You know, YouTubers, stand-up comedians, late-night talk show hosts. Entertainment. A clown. A circus clown. Entertainment.
To put an end to it. And if you just so happen to be someone that gags every time you hear the word MAGA, I also need you to approach this with an open mind. I am not Republican. In fact, I'm politically homeless, nor have I ever
right-leaning
called myself
libertarian.
a conservative. However, Ryan and I can relate on a lot of things in terms of how we were treated by people who claim to be tolerant, inclusive, and kind.
I.e. the left. My goodness. Gothix, listen. I understand the left can be crazy. Shoot, I am literally, as we speak, having disagreements with them about woke. And my opinion on woke is that, and I will make a video on this, we need to make woke more edible. We need to make it so it's something that people aren't repulsed by if we want to continue to thrive, if we want to continue to win this culture war. And I in the comment, I put several examples of woke done well. Woke that's done well that's not cringe. And you know what? It only got 3 likes. And God, my goodness. This is on YouTube. You can find this comment on Suris. You know, you probably know Suris. I'll leave a link in the description. He was reacting to Kim Kaiti. Leaving the cult of wokeness. I left a comment there saying, if the left wants to continue to thrive, we must make woke more, what's the word? I may not have wrote this edible. We must make it more, look, we just have to make it better. Something that people aren't repulsed by. But yes, I understand there are some crazy lefties who have just treated you as awful. And I'm not like that. I can respect a difference of opinion. Okay? Like, I know I may insult conservatives at times, but if any of you who are watching this who are fans of Gothix, in fact, guess what? In my last video I made of Gothix, a critique on Gothix, well, my first one, I actually had a debate with one of Gothix's fans. Yes, it was a respectful debate. So you see, I don't hate you guys, and like, we can debate. Like, And you know what? To any of those of you who are subscribed to me, the 23, take this as a lesson. Instead of like hating Trump supporters, why don't we learn to work with them? Like, we have to coexist. You're going to have to learn to coexist with Trump supporters slash conservatives. Like, we are on a boat, okay? We need to protect this boat. Hold on. Oh shit, I gotta hurry up. We're at 8%. If it goes off, I'll just I'll split it up and then edit it together. But, yes, we are on a sinking ship and we have to work together to fix the ship or we both drown. Like, it's like that scene in Hunger Games. If we burn, you burn with us. That is what every side of the political aisle should know. At least for now, until we decide to secede. Like, until we split countries, which I honestly think would be a good idea, to split countries. But until then, we have to work up until that point and work together. But yes, I am so sorry, but listen, she never never shuts up about how, like, I voted for Trump. People are mean to me. Like, I understand that. I'm really sorry. But what does this have to do with anything? This is supposed to be about not trans indoctrination, drag queens indoctrination in children's media. So can we talk about this? Her video titles are so misleading. Like, even that video where she said in defense of Candace Owens, she talked about, like, black females, promiscuity, abortion rates, Margaret Sanger, all this other stuff. She did not bring up Candace once in that video other than the first scene when she showed her basically shucking and jiving for Master Tucker Carlson on Fox News. Like, they're incredibly misleading. Even that video, like, so many of them, the titles, they're not what I would have expected you to talk about. Are you here to talk about indoctrination of drag queens, or are you here to talk about how tribal the left is? Like, what? And honestly, you idiots on the left, this is all your fucking fault. You idiots have created these types of victims who never shut up about how people were mean to them. Like, if you were just a bit nicer to them, and I'm not even asking you to be nice. I would you hear how her friends ostracized from her. Like, can you just keep your distance from them, but still maintain a respectful relationship with them? Like, it's really not that hard. Conservatives and liberals can be friends. Like, even long after we've seceded in two different countries, we can still work with each other at times. We can still trade with each other. Like, because we're still on the same landmass. It's just going to be divided. And I know I sound crazy, but, like, it is your fault. The reason people like Gothix and them are always talking about this stuff. So, yeah.
I hate to break it to you, but being prejudiced or antagonistic towards a person on the basis of their membership of a particular group is the literal definition of bigot.
Literal.
You know, the very thing you claim to fight against. So when you watch the following video, I need you to really let your guard down and listen to what Ryan has to say. This isn't a MAGA recruitment video, and I'll be the last person to persuade strangers to pledge allegiance to any particular political party. Nonetheless, I want you to consider the actions of your side, assuming you're on the left. As embarrassing as it is...
Okay, Gothix, I love you, but I promise you, nobody on the left, like, very few people on the left watch your channels. Very few. Your audience is mostly conservatives, and what I would say is right-leaning libertarians. Like, and the few that probably do watch your channel are what I like to call on the liberal left. Like, I don't want to say classical liberal because that bitch nigga Dave Rubin has poisoned the term. Dave Rubin is a conservative. He's not a classical liberal. He is a conservative. If he says he's a classical liberal, he's full of shit. He is full of shit. Maybe there are some liberals in your audience, Gothix. Like, there are liberals in Eric July audience, Young Group of 59's audience. Very few. Like, just very few of them. But yeah, they exist on his audience. But, I mean, yeah. So, for the sake of being good faith, I will listen. Listen, I'm not one of those lefties that gets triggered anyway, so I don't have a problem with this. I'm gonna be fine. So, yeah.
For me to admit, I used to hate Trump supporters and even ended a friendship with one before ultimately voting for the guy in 2020. Did I randomly wake up one day and decide to vote for a racist homophobe? Did your family, friends, and neighbors all randomly say, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to vote for a supposed dictator today?
No comment.
Or did we stop listening to the opinions of others, like the media, and instead challenge ourselves to hear the other side and form our own conclusion? At least that's what I did. Seriously, if you take a moment to actually have a conversation with a conservative or a Trump voter, you might be surprised just how much you both have in common.
I mean, vice versa. You do realize that goes both ways, right? Like, you don't hold that to the same account. Have you ever, like, I haven't heard, the only lefties I've seen you have on the show are Sam and Aaron, and that was a shit show. And it's not their fault. It is that bitch Carlin's fault. She was acting incredibly insane. But what was I gonna say? No, but seriously, she was acting insane. Like, she was, and she even, in the after party, she admitted to purposefully acting insane. Like, you don't hold the same account. In fact, you know what, if you ever gave me airtime, I would show you this, that if you took a moment to talk with actual leftists, like Walsh, who, listen, I understand he called you a white supremacist, and frankly, Walsh, he's debated many black conservatives, and he hasn't called them white supremacists. He debated Brandon Tatum, he didn't call him a white supremacist. I don't know why he said that. I mean, like, I don't agree with that, and I'm really disappointed he said that, because now that's why you won't debate him. Like, you refuse, and I completely understand. Like, you're not going to engage with somebody who calls you a white supremacist. Like, I'm sure you have PTSD from Twitter, but Walsh, he's not one of those leftists. You and Walsh probably agree on a lot of things. And if you ever had the time to speak with me, I would show you how you and Walsh, like, I already have the whole thing planned out. How you and Walsh agree on the same things.
Take it away, Ryan.
Okay, this is no coincidence. Country classics. See, now you know I'm on a right-wing channel. Two commercials. One wasn't enough. One commercial wasn't enough.
Why, hello there. My name is Lady Maga USA, as you can see, and I am a conservative drag queen. And when I say conservative, I mean that I love my country, I love my Constitution, I believe in my Second Amendment, and I believe in freedom for all. And that includes religious people who might not necessarily see eye to eye with me and what I do. I just got back from a huge Republican event here in Utah. Dennis Prager was speaking, and it was so hot. I'm literally sweating like a sinner in church. I believe that identity politics are absolutely toxic, and I think as Americans, instead of dividing ourselves up by skin color or alphabets like LGBTQIA+, we should just come together as Americans and celebrate what we have in common.
Okay, so yes, I agree. Identity politics is toxic, and that's another thing that the left needs to do is get rid of identity politics. But here's the thing. Conservatives, you guys do it too. You do it too. Like, evangelicals, you still pander to them countless times. Like, no, but it's for real. Like, when y'all say getting blacks off the Democratic plantation, you are playing a new form of identity politics. You don't want to end identity politics. You just want to take it back from the goddamn left. Like, evangelicals, you still pander to them. Like, I just saw this video from TPUSA, Charlie Kirk, where he says why Christian conservatives should vote for Trump, or from that bitch Matt Walsh. He made this video saying why Christians, Catholics can't vote for Biden. And which is a form of identity politics. Like, you're saying just because somebody's a Catholic, they can't vote Democrats? Like, that is identity politics. Like, which leads me to believe you guys don't want to end the identity politics. You just want to take it over. You don't want to destroy the ship. You want to take the ship over. And frankly, that is a smart strategy, but you're being disenchanted. Stop. You are being disingenuous.
And that is what I love about the conservative movement. And that is what I loved about President Donald Trump, is I know that he saw me as an American, not a voting demographic to manipulate the way they do on the left. I am proud of who I am.
Okay, now that's just, that is definitely some political stuff right there. Nothing heartwarming about that.
And it really doesn't have a lot to do with my sexuality. I'm proud of being honest. I'm proud of being a patriot. I'm proud of my drag artistry. I'm proud that I stand up for what I believe in. I'm proud that I'm a good friend and a good brother. And I happen to be gay. I don't make my sexuality my primary identity. I believe that the Democrats
Nobody does either.
and the left manipulate gay people into thinking that we have to be Democrats.
Okay, so, I don't think they manipulate you. I mean, whenever one of you, like a few of you happen to be right-leaning, they definitely do treat you guys badly, like I just stated, but manipulate you? No. Like, please, genuinely ask yourself this. Like, gay people, so they like somebody of the same sex. They're same sex. Like, a gay man likes men, a gay woman likes woman. Do you think okay, hypothetical. They have to choose between two parties. One party favors traditional marriage. You know, a man, a woman, they favor religion, all that sort of thing. Now, the other party does not. Who do you think they're going to choose? And when I say they favor religion, it means they don't necessarily agree with the homosexual lifestyle. Who do you think they're going to join? Like, you say that they're manipulating them, but without the manipulation, without the identity politics, without the strings being pulled, who do you think they are going to choose? But, and to be clear, when I say the party that favors tradition, I mean, listen, it's no secret that they're not fans of gay people, okay? Like, you saw that Blair White debate with that Lauren chick. That Blair White, Carolyn Borsenko, and, what's his name? Patrick, no wait. John Doyle. Sorry, Patrick's an Irish name, so, and Doyle Irish as well. Yeah, they're not fans of trans people, they're not fans of gay people, and listen, here's my theory. My theory is that conservatism will die, okay? Conservatism as an ideology will not survive. And conservatives, if they pander to gay people, that will be the end of it. And I think they think this too. Because the whole point of conservatism is tradition, and gays, same sexes, people who like the same gender are not traditional. They are not a man and a woman in a family. Now, like, obviously, there are always exceptions. And to be clear to all you gay conservatives out there, like, do you, okay? Like, I'm not one of those lefties that are going to treat you terrible because you decide to vote for Orange Man. Like, come on now. Like, Brad Polumbo, he's a conservative and he's gay, but he's the only one who had any form of transparency about BLM. He was the only one who was intellectually honest about BLM within all the conservatives. Within the conservative spheres, They just basically stuck everything bad about BLM and then capitulated it with the whole movement. But at least, damn it, Brad. At least that Brad was fair, damn it. At least Brad is fair. And then after he said that the organization and the movement are two different things, Gothix just said, yeah, no, to me they're both the same thing. He was giving you a factual thing that they are not the same thing. And then you just said, oh, no, but they are. Gothix did that. But let me move on. Jasmine, if you're going to be up here, you better behave. Okay? Nah, y'all can't see her. My cat, Jasmine.
I call it the Rainbow Gestapo. And I chose to...
My God. They are such victims. Like, first Gina Carano and now you. Like, I understand things are tough. But being conservative is not like being a Jew in Gestapo. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's bitch ass too. How am I going to get through this?
Walk away from the Rainbow Plantation because I...
The Rainbow Plantation? You see? He's proving my point. He's proving my point further. Like, when they use terms like Rainbow Plantation, Democratic Plantation, it is your own form of identity politics. Identity politics.
Into hating my country, supporting radical socialism, and...
Oh my God. Yes, you know what? Leftists hate their country. That's why you got all these leftists joining the military. They hate their country. Radical socialism. First of all, stop putting radical in front of socialism. You don't fuck with socialism, so stop putting radical in front of it like you gave it, like, it was like, oh, socialism, it was fine, but it just got too radical. Like, too many bad actors. No, you always hated socialism.
Persecuting Christian people who might not see eye to eye with me on homosexuality.
Okay, persecute, okay, you know what? Maybe you got me there. Maybe they can persecute Christian people, like whenever some baker or whatever refuses to bake a cake. And you know what? Here's my view on that. I honestly, because, you got to respect people's religious beliefs and all that. And even the left has been advocated with respecting people's religious beliefs. But my thing is, I guess the baker is justified. But at the same time, it's just a fucking cake. Like, it's not like they're asking you to kiss them. It's not like they're asking you to, to come out as trans and do a surgery. It's not like they're forcing anything down your throat. It is just flour, water, eggs, sugar, milk, whatever they put in a fucking cake. You are just handing them a piece of sugary goodness. Unhealthy sugary goodness. Like, that's like saying, like, you're at a vending machine and, okay, let's say a gay, trans, somebody who's in the LGBT community is at a vending machine, and then they put a quarter in, and then a bag of chips comes out. This may be a silly ideology, but, a silly talking point, but then again, Gothix made a silly talking point earlier, so it's my turn to make a silly talking point. And, it's not working. The gay person walks away, and then a Christian comes in, and then they see that the bag of chips came out just really, really late. The gay person says, can you hand me that bag of chips? And then the straight Christian person, says, I'm sorry, it's against my religious beliefs. To me, it's the same thing. It is just a cake. It's not like you're saying you support this thing. You're just giving them a goddamn cake. Like, you don't want the business? Seriously. But, unfortunately, I have to support their right to religious freedom. Now, at the same time, you see gay people, you see gay conservatives, and all you conservatives, maybe that's why you can, if you ever ask the question, why aren't there that many gay conservatives? And there are gay conservatives, but when you ask yourselves, why aren't conservatives flocking over to the Republican Party? The fact that you guys support people's right to not bake them a goddamn cake, That's definitely one of the reasons. Like, and Muslims too. And the problem is, y'all need to hold Muslims accountable, okay? Now, to be granted, I don't think there are that many Muslim bakers out there. But, yeah, okay? Like, it won't be difficult to hold Muslims accountable. They're not gonna, like, they're not going to hurt you. They are under this country. They are under this rule. We are. As somebody who grew up in a Muslim family, okay? Mansa Musa was a Muslim, king of the Mali Empire, and a socialist. That's right. He handed out so much gold. Mansa Musa, the conqueror, he caused an inflation in the Mali Empire because he handed out so much goddamn gold. And you got this woman, I'm sorry, you know what? That looks like a woman. This drag queen man saying radical socialism. And I'm like, you never liked it before. Why are you putting radical in front of it? But anyway, like I said, I don't hate him. He has a right to his political beliefs.
I believe that it is our responsibility to defend the freedom, especially the freedom of speech, of all Americans. And
I agree. I absolutely agree. We should defend freedom of speech, which is why I, as a leftist, am against censorship. And do you know why I'm against censorship? It's not only just because of the sake of freedom of speech, it's because many of you on the right say the most ridiculous, stupid, crazy, evil, deranged shit all the time. And I want you guys to see what you are fighting for. You are fighting for the right to say all of that stupid and crazy shit, and then later on ask the question, why do people think we're racist? Like, vice versa. Like, you see all the dumb shit done by SJWs, the dumb shit SJWs say. You guys can say dumb shit as well. That's another reason I support freedom of speech. And yes, God, I have to make that video. Why the left should support freedom of speech. But yes, I agree.
That includes Christians who might believe that homosexuality is a sin. In return, I ask that they respect my secular freedoms. And the vast majority of religious conservatives do believe in my right to live freely as I so choose. I would know.
I know.
Because I'm with them all the time. I grew up Mormon, and I came out of the closet as a gay Mormon. And that was very difficult. However, coming out of the closet as a Trump-supporting drag queen conservative was 100 times more difficult than that. I lost all of my performance opportunities. I lost the vast majority of my LGBT friends. And recently, I was fired from Delta Airlines after an impeccable 8-year career as a flight attendant.
Wait, did she say Delta? Oh, I thought she said Spirit. Spirit Airline is trash, okay?
Because of my politics. I am slandered and insulted. I'm told that I'm a racist. I'm told that I'm a Nazi. I'm called all kinds of names when in reality...
Do y'all see my face right now? And it's all you idiots on the left that keep saying this stupid shit, okay? Every time you say stupid shit like that, you give them power to strawman you. You see, this is why they can't debate you when you call them racist, Nazis, homophobes, and white supremacists. Like, Vosh, you opted, first of all, Vosh is so fucking stupid for calling her a white supremacist because now she won't debate the man. My goodness.
I love people, and I want us all to come together as Americans and celebrate our freedom. It is a complete and total myth that conservatives hate LGBT people. I have tried.
First of all, don't listen to him. Do not listen to him. Like, I will show you evidence in the video coming up, about kink at Pride. There's going to be some LGBT history in there, okay? Conservatives, listen, I'm not going to say they hate them, but they're not fans with them. And I'm like, we can't pretend. We cannot pretend that they are. They cannot pretend that they are. If they do, then, like I said, that's the death of conservatism. If they do, that is the death of the very thing they stand for, which I'm okay with.
I traveled the United States, and I have been to so many conservative events that I can't even count. And the vast majority do not care that I'm a drag queen. And even if they do, they're not rude to me. Where the left, when I came out as a conservative, Trump-supporting drag queen, the left crucified me. They doxed me.
Okay, okay, yeah. And I'm against doxing. Wait. Say that again.
They do, they're not rude to me. Where the left, when I came out as a conservative, Trump-supporting drag queen, the left crucified me. They doxed me. They reported me to my job. They insulted me. They tried to shut down my events. So
You see all of this deranged shit all done by leftists. And as a leftist, I cannot defend all of you when you do stupid shit like this. Okay? What is that gonna do? You cannot stop people from believing what they want to believe. All you did was made another I'm sorry, not trans. I'm sorry. I always confuse them. Alright, listen, to be fair, yeah, what she said in the beginning, people do confuse drag queens and trans all the time. Like, and me, no, I know that they're different, but my mind tricks itself into capitulating the two. But, all you did was made another person, another member of the LGBT community's life difficult. Like, the conservatives, and don't listen to what he just said. The conservatives absolutely do not support that lifestyle. They can tolerate it. And you know what? This is something conservatives have over the left. And this is what's making the left lose the culture war. They are incredibly tolerant. Okay? They are tolerant because they know that's going to lead to their survival. There's very little purity testing in the conservative sphere. Like, we do that shit now. There used to be a lot of purity testing, but now the left does purity testing. Funny. Okay? But, what was I about to say? So yeah, you just made another LGBTQ member's life difficult because they think differently than you. And what I will say is what I was saying is that they already have a difficulty. They could be targets of hate crimes. All these other sorts of things. But you just want to make their life incredibly difficult? Like, the people who actually are there, who are supposedly supposed to defend them, you guys are going to do that shit to them? For what? I'm not a fan of conservatism. I'm not. Really, I'm not. I find many conservatives to be destructive. But gay conservatives, black conservatives, except that stupid bitch Candace Owens. Oh, by the way, he brought up doxing. Yeah, well, Candace Owens did doxing. But you won't see Gothix make a video about that. No, you won't. Because it doesn't fit her narrative. Okay? And you know what? This is the truth about both sides. Both sides will leave out things that don't fit their narrative. Which is why I try to show you the whole story. Me, on this channel. That's what this channel's about. But, see, I keep losing my train of thought. But we're supposed to be the ones who are there for protection. Like, which is why gay conservatives, black conservatives, conservatives that are not straight white males or straight whites, they have a soft spot in my heart. Do you know why? Because I can respect a difference of opinion. I don't agree with them. But, like, the future is bright. Who knows? Maybe if I'm smart enough, maybe if I have good enough arguments, we can bring them back over to our side, or at least somewhere in the middle. In the real middle. Like, the middle is key. And if you dox and shame them, like, you just make their life difficult.
In the end, I can honestly say, from personal experience, with proof, that conservatives on the right are twice as tolerant and twice as loving than the left, than the Democrats.
Listen, there's going to be very little evidence of this, and I will debunk all of it as fast as I can.
Because if you don't buy into their narrative, and if you don't buy into their LGBT rainbow flag militant ideology, and you step aside, you are kicked out. You are excommunicated. When I came out as a conservative drag queen in Utah, other drag queens in Utah, their words, not mine. They said, you are excommunicated and you are no longer welcome in any LGBTQ space.
I'm sorry, that's awful, but the way he just said that.
Their words, not mine. They said, you are excommunicated and you
The
are
way
no
he
longer...
just said excommunicated is just so funny. You are excommunicated, fam. What is it they say? Boo. You are excommunicated, honey.
Welcome in any LGBTQ space. Well, when I go to a Trump rally or I go to a conservative event, I am welcomed with open arms. And now, I'm glad that I left the radical LGBTQIA community because I have a whole new community of people who don't care that I'm gay. They like that I'm a drag queen, and they are my friends because we are Americans together.
First of all, wait. Did you just hear that? He said they like that you're a drag queen. So, at these, you heard, hold on, because I think I just found a logic bomb.
Well, when I go to a Trump rally or I go to a conservative event.
Trump rally, conservative event. Do you think that there are children at those Trump rallies and conservative events? You see where I'm going with this. You don't think that there are children at those conservative events? I'm pretty sure I've seen little young magatards at those rallies with their magatard parents. I'm sorry. You know what? Like I said, I have to be more tolerant. The left has to be more tolerant, okay? We don't care if you voted for Trump, okay? I disagree, okay? I disagree with conservatives, but we don't hate you, okay? So I take back my magatard comment.
I am welcomed with open arms. And now, I'm glad that I left the radical LGBTQIA community because I have a whole new community of people who don't care that I'm gay. They like that I'm a drag queen, and they...
So, back to what I was saying. There are children at these events, but they're okay to have a drag queen there. So, you see, this gives more light to what I was saying earlier, that drag queens are okay to be exposed to children in an appropriate manner. So, the fact that he just said that literally just proved my point, and that there is no indoctrination. There is no evidence of indoctrination, which Gothix and all those idiots who are mad about were talking about, and that it was simply entertainment. You are there for entertainment, okay? Like, that's it.
They're my friends because we are Americans together. So I found a whole new family among the people who are supposed to hate me. It's been an incredible journey that
You know what I will say, and this is irrelevant, and I know I'm a hypocrite because I said there's always some irrelevancy, but you know, it is kind of beautiful when you find out that the people who you thought hated you, like, now you're their family, now you're their tribe, they're your tribe. And I do find that beautiful. And this isn't just with politics, but like, that is something that I wish was depicted. Like, the people who you thought were against you, who you thought hated you, turned out to be the ones that, you know, that you bang with. Okay?
Trade for the world. And my message to any liberal, leftist, LGBT person out there is, please open your hearts and open your minds and start doing your homework. Start researching what real racism is. Start researching what the real consequences of socialism are.
Okay, you know what? No, we're not going to get into that. Now, what you should say to all those liberal and left-leaning drag queens, which is pretty much most of the rest of them, okay, is please stop doxing me and please stop being unhinged, okay? And that's some good advice. And that's the advice I give to all you lefties out there. Just respect them, take a deep breath, and if you get the urge to dox them or just do some incredibly unhinged shit, just take a look at one of my videos instead, okay? Like, just binge on my video instead, instead of doxing them, instead of censoring them, instead of, I don't know, doing God knows what else,
researching what identity politics do to us as people.
Yes, I have researched it, and I realized that the conservatives do it too.
You are individuals, and the left loves collectivism. The left tries to push the narrative that we all have to think a certain way if we look a certain way, or have a certain skin color, or a certain sexual orientation. And we as conservatives say...
And you as conservatives like to push your own narrative that if you are a certain gender, you have to think and do things a certain way. If you're that other gender, you have to think and do things a certain way. You see gender as a black and white thing. You don't see it as malleable. And when I say gender, let me be clear. Once again, I'm not referring to biological genders. I'm not referring to the biological sexes of male and female. I'm talking about the gender roles in society. You guys do that with gender roles all the time. Okay? Like, if you're a woman, you have to think and do this way, act this way. If you're a man, you have to think and do this way and act this way. Okay?
Hey, no. America was founded on individualism, and collectivism is...
No, it wasn't. Wait, what? Wait, individualism? You know, I don't even care.
Orientation. And we as conservatives say no. America was founded on individualism, and collectivism is toxic because it takes away your true identity. So if you really want...
First of all, I saw on one of Gothic's Monday live streams, she said she was going to be doing a string of videos on Pride, and I was waiting for these. And I made a bet with my sister. I said, I guarantee you that she's going to get right-leaning trans people and gay people. And granted, Miyoki, Jasmine, stop. Get out. And Miyoki in the last video, I don't know where she leans politically, but she seems to be the whole, with the whole hard work and not a victim mentality, which contrary to belief, like, the left doesn't hate hard work, okay? We're not, like, I never told black people that, oh, like, the system's gonna take you down. I was very non-emotional, and I used the facts. I said statistically this, statistically that, but like that doesn't mean you shouldn't try, okay? But yeah, the gay guy, the gay back Trump supporter, and him. So I knew Gothix was gonna get right-leaning gays and trans people for Pride. Gotta do some virtue signaling to her conservative audience. But, yeah.
Be free, and you really want to be who you are, then question the leftist narrative. Ask yourself, do I really agree with all of the radical policies being pushed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Joe Biden, or am I...
Radical policies? Like what? Okay, so I guess you're one of those gays that, not gays, conservatives. So conservatives, they do this all the time, okay? They always like try to say, oh, Biden, he's this socialist. Like, he's like Stalin. He's a communist. Like, he's not. This man was opposed to defunding the police. He doesn't support Medicare for all. He's backed out of minimum wage. He's backed out of, like, all of these, even remote, those things that you guys say are socialist policies, but really aren't. Like, he's conservative. Like, Biden is a conservative. And Acacia, she's not even that far left. She's not. What the fuck is that? But, yeah. What was I about to say? Oh, yeah. Acacia, she didn't even fight to force the vote for Medicare for all. So she is not that far left-leaning. But yeah, they like to say that Biden is a socialist or whatever. And I'm like, this man is such a conservative. He makes Ruth Bader Ginsburg look like a fucking hobby. Okay? And that may not make sense, but I'm really tired. It's really late right now.
Just on the Democrat side because I believe conservatives hate me? Or am I just on the left because I hated Donald Trump? Well, that's not a reason to support an ideology. You should go and find out who we are as conservatives and get to know us because, honey, it is fabulous. So God bless America, God bless bless all
All
of
right,
you.
he's kind of funny.
And if you're interested in learning about what I do, you can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, Lady Maga USA. I wish my leftist friends well. I do not wish them death. I would never send them messages saying, you deserve a noose, or you're...
Vice versa. I agree. I mean, likewise, I will never send death threats to conservatives. Like, and all of you lefties doing that, stop. And frankly, to be honest, not all leftists do that. Because, listen, I don't hate you as a person. I just hate what you think. I mean, I disagree with what you think. I wouldn't say hate what you think, okay? Because, like, there are some parts, like, very few of my beliefs are conservatives. Like, just a teensy bit, okay? But I respect you all, and I wish you the best.
Garbage. No, I disagree with them, but that's kind of the difference between leftists and conservatives. All conservatives have liberal friends and we still love them. But if you come out and say you support Donald Trump or you're...
Wait, first of all conservatives have liberal friends? So doesn't, like, you do realize that sort of, can't, like, by Gothix logic, that cancels a narrative that liberals ostracize their conservative friends. Because if conservatives have liberal friends, then those liberals have conservative friends. So, yeah. That sort of debunks this narrative that leftists are, like, they ostracize you and they dox you. When in reality, people can, and I said this earlier, you can have conservative friends. You should have conservative friends, and you should get out of an echo chamber. Okay? Like, keep your friends close and keep your enemies close, but keep your frenemies, like, frenemies, y'all better be together 100% of the time. And that's what conservatives are. We're frenemies.
a conservative Republican, then suddenly who you are is just completely overlooked and the hatred comes out. And that has been the most painful thing.
You know who he sounds like? He sounds like JP. Like, y'all know JP, the comedian? He legit sounds like JP. You know JP's channel. He's also what I would classify as right-leaning libertarian.
About coming out as a conservative drag queen. So I came out of the closet as a gay Mormon. And then I felt like I was back in the closet as a conservative, America-loving drag queen. So I have just made a vow to myself that I will fight for my Constitution, I will fight for my fellow Americans, and free speech for all, which includes speech that I disagree with. I will fight for our right to keep and bear arms until the day I die, because my pride is American pride. I love my country, and so many people have come before me to allow me this amazing life and all of the beautiful freedoms that I enjoy, including my freedom to be a drag queen. And we have to stand up for freedom because we're losing freedoms right and left in this country. So God bless America, God bless everyone, give conservatives a chance, and if you want to come hang out with me at a conservative event or a rally, you will see how much love and true diversity there is.
Yes, and I'll also note the hypocrisy of you guys complaining about on Nickelodeon and drag queens reading to kids and like all these other stuff, but you have a drag queen. Like, what if I just went up there and said, why is there a man dressed as a woman in this event full of children? There are children present. Like, what? Oh, I get it. You're trying to indoctrinate your kids. Is that a MAGA hat? I see. You're trying to use drag queens as a Trojan horse to indoctrinate kids with MAGA. Like, oh, yeah, I get it now. And listen, I keep confusing them with trans. If I accidentally called them trans in this video, please forgive me. I mean drag queen. Okay?
In the conservative movement. God bless.
As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a...
Okay, so, this video, once again, incredibly misleading. The title, Drag Queen Storytime is a Bad Idea. Ooh, the hack. I'm gonna look at that. But, Drag Queen Storytime is a Bad Idea. Incredibly misleading. When he came up, I thought he was gonna talk about drag queens and indoctrination, but he didn't. He just talked about how identity politics and how he's like a right-leaning gay drag queen. So once again, Gothix, your video is incredibly misleading. Which, listen, I may disagree with you on stuff, but could you please, please at least be consistent with your title, okay? Like, even this, the trans agenda, it was like, when you guys said the trans agenda, I thought, okay, they're going to talk about how, and a conservative talking point, right-wing libertarian talking point, is that trans is being forced down people's throats, pronouns and whatnot. And you didn't even talk about pronouns in the video. Like, it was not what I expected. So, yeah, that's, we're gonna end this. We gotta watch this yeah.
Thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content like this. My name is Gothix, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Alright, well, that's pretty much it for this video. It was fun, once again, calling out many hypocrisies. But like I said, there's one advice that could be taken from this video, and that's that we have to learn to live with conservatives. We can debate with them, but like I said, we are on a sinking ship. There are already so many problems that aren't even just their fault, conservatives' fault. Some of them are our goddamn faults, but some of them are nobody's fault that we can all work together to fix, okay? And then after that, we'll just secede because I'm tired. I honestly can't. And even when we seceded, we can still, like, communicate with each other in passing and trade with each other and whatnot. But, yeah, that's the only lesson I want you to take from this video. All that indoctrination bullshit is, well, it's bullshit. There is no indoctrination or Marxist indoctrination. And yeah, I've obviously proven that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Bye.